So, for a very long time now, the most popular driver award has been very predictable. Bill Elliott had a stranglehold on it for a while, and then Earnhardt Jr. Now Chase Elliott is the guy that's winning the award every year. There are some drivers over the years that I'm surprised that have never won this award. In my opinion, there's 6 drivers that come to mind immediately that should have won this award at least once throughout their career. These drivers either have very colorful personalities or have made a big presence in NASCAR. So let's go ahead and get into this. Here are 6 drivers that should have won the most popular driver award. So to start off this list, Michael Walcher, younger brother of Darrell Walcher, who shares the same goofy personality as his older brother. Thing is though is that Darrell Walcher has won the most popular driver award before while Michael Walcher hasn't. Even though Michael Walcher didn't have the success his older brother had, he was always great in front of the camera. Every time TV would interview Michael Walcher, you knew the interview was going to make you laugh, especially interacting with Darrell Walcher. When rain delays happen, Michael Walcher will always steal the show.
Talk and fill some rain time, Mikey, so go. Make fun of Alan, do something.
Well, I got my new Nextel phone here, warming up for next year, practicing saying Nextel Cup Series.
That's hard.
Enjoying some downtime here. Got a decent qualifying speed. You see in Winston Cup racing, if you run bad, they just constantly, it's just right in your face. You just see it over and over and over. So since we're up there to the good side of...
Somebody paging you?
Hey, Darrell.
Oh, no. Oh, brother.
Right now.
Anyway, Mikey currently second fastest.
No kidding. I thought you qualifying over.
Anyway, well, how about we let Mikey talk on the... Okay, all right, you guys go ahead and chat.
No, Darrell, qualifying has been delayed. I'm currently second, and about 20 more cars left to go. And it's drying rapidly, and they're going to put the cars back on the track. So... you want to say it? You want to say your words when they get ready to go back? You know what they are. Try it.
Very long delay, perhaps.
Mikey, what's the holdup?
And Mikey, I'm afraid I'm afraid Alan and Benny might not like it. But anyway, I'm gonna say it anyway.
Yes. No, Darrell's goofy, as y'all probably well know, and we enjoy our Nextel connection. He's in Tennessee. I'm over here in North Carolina. We just beep each other back and forth all the time.
Actually, you'd be currently in Tennessee, but I'll let that go.
Hey, we're both in Tennessee. I never know where I'm at or really, Marty, what I'm saying or doing. It's like I'm these two people. I'm this TV mic that just does all this craziness, and then...
I'm looking at you, and you're right. You never know where we are. You're probably at the wrong track and you don't even know it.
That's a good point.
But I have such a strong support group around me. You know,
including your brother, who really loves you, you can tell.
My wife and my brother, they just tell me that I'm right. I am confused, and they just need to help me out all they can. But I have had a great time here in Bristol this trip.
Man, it just blows my mind that he's never won the most popular driver award before. Yeah, Michael Walcher doesn't tell it how it is like Darrell Walcher, but he's entertaining like his brother though. And I felt like that he should have gotten the most popular driver award at least once throughout his career. Next up on this list is Tim Richmond, who was a breath of fresh air in NASCAR in the 80s. Ever since the beginning of NASCAR, you'll usually see the drivers with the tough guy persona. They were laid back and usually didn't like the camera in front of them. Tim Richmond was the complete opposite of that though. He loved being in front of the camera. His flamboyant personality grabbed a lot of people's attention, and the broadcast would make sure that the audience at home can see the colorful personality of Tim Richmond. Tim Richmond was popular but never popular enough to win the most popular driver award. But he did have one thing going for him though, and that he was popular with the ladies, so there's that. Had Tim Richmond not passed away though, I think he could have won the most popular driver award at least once throughout his career. The third driver on this list is Clint Bowyer. This dude is so random and you never know what he's gonna say. Clint didn't have a ton of success on the track, but just like Michael Walcher, he's funny as hell and could fill a ton of TV time, especially during the rain delay. Another thing that I and many fans appreciate is when a driver speaks his mind, and Clint has no problem doing that at all.
Well, first of all, I was behind the 44. He come flying around, come up on the apron, jumps in front of me, then runs over the 51, stacks us all up, and I run into him. Absolutely. We used to come down here and worry about who's going to sit on the front row in the pole for the biggest race of the year. Now all we do is come down here and worry about how a starting park like this out of desperation is going to knock us out of the Daytona 500. We've been in meetings for 45 minutes just trying to figure out what in the hell everybody's going to do just so we can make the race. It's stupid. There's no sense in doing this.
Now, there are some people that dislike Bowyer only because of the Spingate incident, but do you really think that Bowyer wanted to do that? That was most likely team orders and he had no choice. Yeah, it was stupid, but you can't really stay mad at Bowyer for that. Plus, that shit happened 10 years ago, or almost 10 years ago. So if you're still mad at Bowyer about that, get over it, man. Up next on this list is Jimmie Johnson. He's just a classy guy, one of the classiest drivers in NASCAR. You would think that winning a championship for 5 straight years would go to his head, but it didn't. And I think that speaks to who Jimmie Johnson is as a person. Johnson did become hated only because of how dominant he was, and people think he's vanilla. After seeing how dull a lot of these young guys are in Cup, it makes Jimmie Johnson look like Clint Bowyer in terms of personality. But anyway, Jimmie Johnson has had moments in his career of just not giving a crap and being outspoken.
Caution, and Jimmie Johnson's walked out of the infield care center. Jimmy, Robbie is saying on his radio that you missed a shift. What happened?
Just like every form of racing he's ever been in, it's always somebody else's fault. He had me turn sideways before we even took the green. I didn't even have a chance to grab the gear. He was beating my bumper cover off me coming to the green because he wanted to restart in front of me. I'm trying to get my lap back as well, so he's just crying up a river like he always does. It's a shame. We got a chance to win the championship and we get spun out before we even take the green on a restart. It's wrong.
You can see the frustrations running high down here in the garage area, guys.
What happened out there?
The same stuff from last year. I don't know, from the start of the race, Harvick tried giving me a flat on the initial start. And then we're out there riding along, and he pulls his head off of his shoulders and tries bump drafting in the center of the turn. I guess all those years of watching TV and worshiping racing like he says he didn't watch much of it to realize you're not supposed to bump draft in the middle of the turn. It's a shame. I mean, just tore up 6 or 7 good race cars. I hope that Childress either fires him, does something about him, NASCAR does something about him, because this is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Jimmie has become more popular over the years. Once he stopped dominating, all of a sudden people were rooting for him. But that's just how it goes though sometimes. The same thing happened to the next guy up on this list. And that guy is Jeff Gordon, a guy that brought NASCAR into the spotlight. If you were to walk down the street and ask someone, do they know Jeff Gordon? They'll most likely say, yes, they do. If you were to ask someone to name a NASCAR driver, they'll most likely say Jeff Gordon. That's how recognizable Jeff Gordon is. Gordon was pretty popular the first few years of his career because he was a breath of fresh air. A bunch of Southerner guys were dominating the sport, and here comes this young kid that's the complete opposite of those guys he's competing with on track and started beating them. Gordon dominated NASCAR from the mid-90s all the way up to the mid-2000s, and with domination comes hatred. In the early to mid-2000s, whenever Jeff Gordon's name was called, he was booed. Whenever he won a race during that time period, he was booed. In the late 2000s, Jeff Gordon was no longer the dominant driver. He had a few winless seasons and luck was not on his side. Gordon had a late career resurgence though, and fans started cheering him. By 2014, Jeff Gordon received the loudest cheers, right there with Dale Earnhardt Jr. When he got his final career win in Martinsville in 2015, the crowd went crazy. I really thought Gordon had a legitimate chance at winning the Most Popular Driver award that year, but he didn't. It would have been cool to see. No 5th championship, but a Most Popular Driver award would have been another nice send-off for Jeff Gordon. Finally on this list is Mark Martin, one of the most humble drivers in NASCAR. It's so many reasons why Mark Martin is respected. To start off, if he saw that you were faster, he'll let you go by. He never bumped anyone out of the way, and he always would try to pass people cleanly. Some will say that Mark Martin was a little too nice, and it explains why he never won a NASCAR Cup Series championship. But it's a driver style that he stayed committed to from when he first started all the way until he stopped racing. Another reason why I think Mark Martin is so well respected and a fan favorite was him being competitive at an old age, especially when you look at his 2009 season where he was 50 years old and had one of his best seasons. 5 wins and 2nd in the championship. That's pretty damn cool to see, and a lot of people loved it. So there you have it, 6 drivers that in my opinion that should have won the Most Popular Driver award at least once in their career. But that's my list. Do you guys agree with the people that I put on my list? Is there anybody that I'm leaving off? Let me know in the comments. I'm gonna go ahead and roll up out of here. Y'all have a good one. Peace.